This is the plaintiff, Judy Tompkins. She says the defendant hooked up her washer dryer, and one day while she was at work, something exploded, and the washer flooded her place and the place below. She's responsible for the flood and the damage it caused, and it's totally the defendant's fault, so he should reimburse her, don't you think? She's suing for $424.91, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Joshua Ward. He says he's the owner of a moving company, not a washer-dryer expert. The woman wasn't home when the so-called flood happened. He wasn't there either, and no one knows what actually caused it in the first place. All he knows is he's not responsible, and he thinks the judge will agree. He's accused of causing water everywhere.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant hooked up her washer dryer and it caused an epic flood after literally exploding in water. But the defendant says he's a mover, not a washer guy, and he's not the culprit. It's the case of moving on down.
Thank you, Douglas. Judy Tompkins. You are suing Uptown Movers, represented here by Joshua Ward. Are you the owner?
Yes.
Okay. For $424.91 in damages that you say you sustained as a result of faulty hookup of your washer dryer by your movers. Okay.
Correct.
What happened?
Basically, they moved me, and at the completion of the move, one of the movers went to close the...
How did you find them as a moving company?
I actually rented a U-Haul truck, and on the U-Haul website, there was a list of different movers in the area, and so I chose them based on their price.
Okay, so you guys don't have your own trucks?
Not right now.
You have humans?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like rent a brother, right? Rent a brother, cousin, uncle, like big burly guys that you could just rent as opposed to owe a pizza and beer to, and then get them to help you move. Okay, so they charged you $359.91, right?
Correct.
Okay, and that was moving how many rooms?
2-bedroom.
Wow.
Three bedroom.
Okay.
3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they move you. It takes how many hours?
Well, according to their website, it should have only taken about 3 hours. However, they went 3 hours over in that. So
you
it
paid
was
a total of what?
6 hours total.
The total was $300. What did you think you were going to pay to move a 3-bedroom? 100 and something? Because in the complaint you said they charged me 220 more. So I thought you were about to say 500 and something. You were going to move 3 bedrooms. You were just going to pay some guys 100 and something bucks. The pizza and the beer would cost more. How do you make a living?
I don't know. We do somehow.
Well, this is standard for Oregon. I mean, it's a little different than New York.
I know it's not New York prices and everything, but still, man, that's okay. In any event, that's what you paid.
Yeah,
and
I'm not complaining
so now
about
you
that.
get to the new. I should hope not, but now you get to the new apartment, and the washer dryer. Are we talking about the one thing in specific? Is it the washer or the dryer, or it's one unit?
Evidenced by the flood, it was actually that the washing machine was not hooked up correctly.
Let's back it up.
But they're separate units.
They're two separate units.
Correct.
And then these folks hook it up for you?
Yes, I specifically asked them about that before I moved out of the house, if you hook up washer and dryers, and they said yes. They unhooked the washer and dryer from my house and attempted to hook it up in the apartment. Okay,
so that's part of the service? Is there any dispute about that?
Well, sometimes we will do that. Sometimes we won't.
Did your guys agree? Were you there on this move?
I was not.
Okay. Did your guys agree to hook up the machine?
I
know
do
the
not
answer
know.
to that. I do not know. How do you not know? You're sued and you're on people's court, but you didn't ask your guys?
Well, it's at their discretion.
No,
I did
that's not
ask
my question. My question is, did your guys hook up this machine? Yes or no? You have to know the answer to that.
It was Kyle and Shane. I asked Kyle if he did. He said he couldn't remember. Okay. I asked Shane, and he said that yes, Kyle did hook up the washer.
Okay.
Okay. But they could not hook up the dryer.
How do you know that it was the hookup of the washing machine that caused the problem you're about to tell me about? Actually, first tell me about the problem. What happens? One day you get a call.
Okay, so they came out Monday morning, and Wednesday I thought everything was ready to go. So Wednesday morning I put a load of wash in, and I was called away on an emergency.
What was the emergency? You want to give me a rough idea?
I had had some issues with the bank, some wrongful issues,
all right,
and they were changing the locks on the house, and I still had belongings in there. And as soon as I'd gotten to the house, I got a call from the apartment manager that went to my voicemail.
Wow, not a good day for you that day.
Oh, it was a day I never want to repeat in my life again.
Okay, is it okay to have a mover hook up your washer dryer?
I think wouldn't be a problem. You know, it's a pretty simple process.
Well, not in this case. Going inside the courtroom.
So they call you and they say there's a flood.
Well, she called me and she said, your apartment is flooding. The washing machine was not hooked up. The drain hose was not in the hole behind the washer, and it's flooded into the downstairs apartment.
All right, so you get there, and do you have pictures?
I do have pictures.
Yes.
And the drain hose is probably about 7-8 feet long, so I don't think there's any way that it could have popped out. I think it was, just that they were in a hurry and negligence.
Well, how did they do it wrong then?
They didn't put it in.
At all?
No.
Oy. There's something you never want to see. Someone holding up a bucket on the ceiling in the apartment below. Was this taken by the management company at your building?
Yes, it was.
All right. So now you are saying, look, Judge, I didn't hook it in. They agreed to hook it in. If they're agreeing to do it, whether I paid them separately or not, they need to do it right. And if they don't do it right and there's damages, then they should have to pay for it, not me.
Correct.
Right. And your response to that is?
I'm under the impression that they did hook up the washer. I'm not denying that. And then about, I'd say, it seems like a week. It seemed like it was more like 8 days, somewhere around there. I got a phone call saying that it had flooded.
Well, what was the day of the move?
The day of the move was actually on the 8th. October 8th of 2011.
All right. And you have a letter from the management company talking about what day the leak was.
Yeah, the event actually happened on the 12th.
The 12th.
Your Honor?
How do you figure, stop, Ms. Tompkins, how do you figure, Mr. Ward, that if your guys hooked up the washer, which it's pretty clear that they did, and they don't hook it up properly, which it's pretty clear that they didn't because there was this flood, with quite minimal damage, I mean, it could have been way worse, right? That you wouldn't have to pay the $359.91.
Because of the other people that were in her house in regards to the washer and dryer, unattended.
But what do you mean, that people were just in her house, period? Or you mean people were, do you have evidence that somebody was messing with the hookup?
The only evidence.
In between the time you left and the time that the flood happened?
I cannot produce that evidence because I do not know those people, but that is what Judy told me. She said in between the times that we were there, other people were there alone in her house.
Okay.
In regards to the washer and dryer.
Watch this. Did you have anybody touch the hookup of the washer in between the time that they left after hooking it up and the time of the flood?
Absolutely not.
Right.
And who he's referring to is the apartment maintenance man.
Okay.
Who simply peered over the dryer on a ladder to see why the dryer was not pushed back further and the closet door shut.
Okay. I'm not going to award you the attorney counsel. We don't do legal fees here at People's Court. That's part of your agreement when you come. I am, however, going to award you the $359.91 because even when somebody agrees to do something without charging you, and as like a good customer service, goodwill, whatever, they have to do it right. And if you don't do it right, which is clear as evidenced by the fact that there was a flood, then that's not something that she should have to pay for. That's something you guys have to pay for. So I find in your favor in the amount of the $359.91 verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff has won this decision here in the People's Court. It wasn't everything she sued for, but almost. What's your feeling on this outcome?
Basically, my feeling is that she took advantage of the fact that she could lie in court. And since there was no proof, I was going off of pure trust on what she had told me and how the events played out.
Her big lie that she told in court was what?
The fact that nobody was there in between the times that we were there, when in fact the last person there was there in her house unattended.
Well, you think so? So you're saying you think the hookup that it was Sean was his name? They couldn't remember even doing it. Was a perfect hookup?
Yes, I will back that up.
Mm-hmm. You're going to still keep doing hookups like this, or maybe?
We've already stopped. Actually,
all right, okay,
yeah.
All right, head right down this way. All right, so come on in here and tell me what you think about the outcome of this case here. Step in a little closer here.
I'm
Satisfied?
I'm very happy with it. I feel like he put a lot of spin on it, and the dates were very clear. It was very clear that they assume responsibility for it, and if you assume responsibility for it, you should do it right.
How'd you get him to work so cheap?
That's an average rate in Oregon. Y'all should move out.
Well, have you ever heard you get what you pay for? Have you ever heard that
Yes,
one?
I have. That thought crossed my mind as I was standing there.
Harvey?
Okay, pretty simple principle here. If you undertake to do something for someone, even if you're not required to do it, you can't be negligent. Otherwise, you're on the hook for damages.